Presbyterian Church in Jackson, Tennessee, and this is our Practicing Our Faith series. So today we're going to talk about a very ancient spiritual practice. It's one that Christians have been doing for a millennia, and it's referred to as the daily office, which I know sounds really boring given all the connotations we have around the word office. But it's not meant to be drudgery. It's not meant to be a chore. It's actually a form of daily prayer, and daily prayer that is sort of structured around the times of the day. So there are many variations of the daily office that differ between traditions and between denominations, but most typically you'll find that the daily office includes morning prayer and evening prayer. And it can also have midday prayer or prayer at the close of the day and so on. But morning prayer and evening prayer are the two most common components of the daily office. And each of those, the morning prayer and the evening prayer, and really, any components of the daily office will include primarily scripture reading and a time of prayer. It might also include hymns or canticles, but scripture reading and prayer are the two most basic components of the daily office. And the idea behind the daily office is that because we are setting aside times of the day to intentionally go to God in prayer, it helps to structure our daily life around our prayer time. It helps to structure our daily lives around God. So it helps us to grow in our journey of faith. So I'm going to talk about a couple of guides that you might consider using for the daily office, some of my go-to resources for it, and I'll also give you some of my advice for doing the daily office, some things that I found helpful along the way. But let's start with resources. My go-to resource for the daily office is actually a phone app, and it was developed by the Presbyterian Church, by the PCUSA. I don't know if you can see this, but it's the app there on the top middle. It's red and has a sort of gold Celtic cross, and it's called Daily Prayer. And you can find this on the App Store if you just search for Daily Prayer PCUSA. You can also find it on the PCUSA website and download it from there. And it's just such a great resource because it updates automatically. So every day you're given different scripture readings and different prayers that you can pray. And it also updates for each time of the day. So if you use it for the morning and then again in the evening, you'll get a different set of scripture readings and prayers. So again, I don't know if you can see this, but when you open it, this is what it looks like. It gives you scripture sentences to start with, and then it has several scripture readings for the day. And then if you scroll up, you'll see a prayer of thanksgiving and intercession and a collect, Lord's Prayer, dismissal. If you click on any of these, you'll be given text. So here's Psalm 88, the first psalm of the day, and it'll give you the full text to read. And then same thing with the prayers of intercession and thanksgiving. This one is very short and very open-ended. Sometimes they'll actually give you kind of a longer prayer. But it's just, it's an easy resource because, you always have your phone with you. I mean, you go on vacation, you still got it with you. Wherever you are, you got it right there. The other great thing about this app is that it's free. So, us good frugal Presbyterians, we like that. So that's one of my favorite resources. Another one I like to use is our Book of Common Worship. This is also published by the Presbyterian Church, and this is the daily prayer edition. So if you're looking for this online, there are several versions of the Book of Common Worship. You want to make sure you get the one that says daily prayer, it's the red one. Um, and this is sort of like the app, but in book form. It gives you morning, evening, midday prayers, Monday through Friday. Oh, I'm sorry, Monday through Sunday, and then we'll also give you prayers for Christmas and Advent and Lent and so on. It has all of the Psalms in it. It even has a couple of songs and canticles. So, really a great resource. It is a bit pricey. This is $35. You can find it on the PC USA website. I also looked for it on Amazon and Christian Book, and couldn't find the book form on it, but I could find the Kindle version, and I think that was around 15. So that's also an option. One final resource that I like, and I've actually mentioned this resource on this video series before, but this book called Faithful Families by Tracy Smith, uh, she includes a daily office prayer in here. And it's one that is very kid friendly, very family friendly. So it's very streamlined, so easy to do with children. So that's a great resource as well. The other thing to know about the daily prayer or the daily office is you can pray it as an individual. I mean, that's how I normally do it, but it is also something that can be done in a group. It can be done communally, and actually, that's how it first started. Was in monastic life, so in group prayer. But however it works for you. And just some advice as you're starting on the daily office. Um, I have found that it was much easier to start small with it. Um, the first when I first started this, I was working full time and I was a new mom. My son was only I mean, maybe only a year or two old, and so we were just always really busy. And I opened up this phone app, and here's all this scripture reading and all these prayers, and it was very overwhelming. You don't have to do like all five scripture readings and all of the prayers listed. Um, do what works for you. If you have time to just read a psalm and pray the Lord's Prayer, that's wonderful. That's time with God. And it's time that will help structure your day with God. So if that's all you can do, that's wonderful. Um, or if you want to do more, that's also wonderful. I found it was helpful to start small and kind of work up. The other thing I would suggest is, try this for more than just a day or two. I think the real benefit comes from a daily practice as we begin to see our lives structured around prayer and structured around God. That's really when we start to see the benefit of it. Um, instead of just sort of trying once or twice and deciding it doesn't work. So really try, several days, maybe even a week, if you can, um, to start to see how your life changes um, as you have this intentional time with God. Um, and the other thing to remember is, again, this is not drudgery, it's not a chore, this is a gift. The daily office is meant to be a gift of time with God, and to remember that God has begun a good work in us. So even if we start small, um, God has begun a good work in us. So I hope that you're staying healthy and safe during this crazy time. I hope you find this helpful. You might already be a prayer warrior, so this might be a new way of trying daily prayer that you're already doing, or if you're finding that your prayer life is sort of up and down, or um, sometimes gets thrown on the back burner. This is a way of helping to make that time with God more intentional. So I hope that you get to try it and that it's meaningful for you. So we'll see you back here next week. And in the meantime, I'm praying for you all and thinking about you and lifting you up. So, love to everyone. Thanks be to God.